What's going on, everybody? Chris from Out West with Chris, and today I am going to be doing some work on my Hobie Outback. I recently picked up a Lowrance Elite TI2, and I'm going to be mounting it on the kayak today. So I'm going to be setting up the transducer, the 3-in-1 transducer. Going to be running all the wiring, hooking up my battery setup, and then also mounting it, figuring out kind of where I want it at on the kayak itself. Filming this with my phone, and hopefully it turns out all right. I'm not a pro at this. I've never done one of these before. I'm just going to walk you guys through it as I understand how it should be done, and you can learn from my mistakes and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get it started right now. First thing I need to do is take off the Guardian Transducer Shield. That's this piece right here underneath the kayak, and it serves some pretty cool functions. So got to take that off first. I'm going to do that right now. This is it right here. So now I need to take the seat off, and I'll show you why in just a second. This is the transducer scupper thing. I need to take this off and take a look at that really quick. This is where the pulley is as well for the up and down system for the Hobie Guardian. When you bought your Hobie, you got a whole packet of just different stuff. This was one of the packets right here. There's some stuff we need right now in it. Okay, so here's the Hobie Guardian. This is the piece that we needed. This is a little protector for your transducer. So we need to pop that off all the way and pop this guy back in. So it just pops right out. Then we're going to pop this guy in. I believe it comes in through the bottom, like this. Oh. Just like that. We'll use the screws that we just took out, and we'll put them right back in. Okay. So here's the big 3-in-1 transducer for the Elite TI2. Here is your transom mount bracket. You're going to use this bracket as a template, and as you can see, you're going to use these holes, the larger ones, these 6, as the template holes, not the ones on the outside. So the mounting bracket, I think, for the Elite TI and the Elite TI2 are different for transom mounts. I believe this is the right way. I'm going to go ahead and mark off the template stuff with a pencil through those holes, and then we'll get to drilling the holes. So just for total transparency's sake, I am watching other videos on YouTube to figure out exactly how to do this, and mainly the one that Hobie put out themselves. I am actually going to link that video down in the description. I think it's good to watch that one as well. Watch mine, watch others, get an idea of what it takes to get this done. So even though I marked these over here, these holes, I'm not going to drill those. They don't drill them out on the Hobie one, and I think part of the reason is it's just so close to this spot right here. I think it could weaken the actual integrity of the Guardian itself. So I'm just going to focus on drilling out these holes down here, and that should work. So I got a 5/32 bit, and I'm going to drill them out. So there we go. Okay, so next I got to take all of this cord, all of this cable right here, thread it through there so that I can hook that onto this. There we go. That was pretty easy. I guess I better take the transducer out of its protective covering. There it is. Okay, so next, this little bag of goodies came with the Lowrance, and I need to find a few of the screws in here and put them on so we can get this thing mounted. So this is the hardware I'm looking for in that package. I'm looking for 4 of these. There are 6. Okay, so I'm already noticing a little bit of a problem. So that's it lined up, but if you look over here, that's a lot of a gap. That's a big gap. that's about what that gap would look like on this side. I don't think I want that. I think I'm going to want it all the way up in here. So, either I had the bracket wrong, which could be the case definitely, or the bracket for the TI2 total scan 3-in-1 transducer, just it's not going to work for this. Okay, so as you can see, it's there. Now, I'm really hopeful that these holes will line up right, and since they're not totally even with those original holes, I'm thinking I'm going to kind of move them up, eyeball them so they're even, and we'll go from there. This isn't ideal, and neither is the fact that my neighbor is doing something in his garage that's noisy. They just have their car on randomly, and I have cars that constantly driving up and down my road, so sorry for the bad audio. Okay, new holes are drilled, and that looks horrible. Let's see if this will work. Okay, so this has turned into a little bit of an issue. I've kind of marked what directions the holes are off, and it looks like I kind of need to widen some of those a little bit. Alright, well, with a little help of my trusty knife, I widened the holes just a little bit, just enough. You can see it's not pretty. The end result is it's mounted, and I think it'll work. Alright, so the next step is all of this cord going to the transducer has to come up through the bottom, up top. So from the bottom up. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, this is going to be a lot easier to do when the boat's upside down, so I got to flip the boat over. Which way are you going to want to flip it? That way? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Grab it, lift it up a little bit. Okay. Down. Okay.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay, high five. Thank you.
Do you still need me?
Nope.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too. There's some cord on this pulley right here. It needs to get tied around that cord so that you can activate the up and down of your transducer, of your Guardian. Anyways, we need to untie the knot there and tie another knot around that. Alright, so the knot's tied. All of this is getting ready to get slapped back together. Alright, so I just got off the phone with my buddy Bryan up at Headwaters Kayak in Redding, and he's done tons of these already. Even though this is just a 2019, he's already done a ton of these. And I wasn't sure, I thought, but I wasn't sure that you had to remove these screws to get the up and down functionality of the Guardian Transducer Shield, the retractableness of it to work. So got off the phone with them and confirmed, yes, you do have to take these screws off if you want it to go up and down. Okay, so I got those screws off that I was talking about, and now it'll retract. So you hit a bump or a log, it'll pop down. There you go. Okay. Now, got to remount this, put some screws in it, and on to the next phase. These tighten down. So now I think we flip this boat back over. Alright, so now I got to pull this three-way plug out. Ooh. Dang. I have to find that. There it is. Alright, next we're going back to the bag of goodies that we had. And these are a bunch of gaskets for the three-way gaskets. We're going to try to figure out which one of these fits around this transducer cord the best. That's pretty good. And then that's going to help us keep this watertight. So on here there's a gasket. We're going to take this gasket off and then thread it around the transducer all the way up to here. Okay, so we want the lipped side, not the flat side. to go over or through first. So we want to go like that. All right, so now we got to take this and get it over here. So we're gonna stick that in and feed the whole thing through. That'll pop in like that. Ah, dang it. Probably don't want to overdo it since there's a gasket in there. Just tight, not super tight. Okay, so now we want to plug this back together, but we want to make sure that the rope or the cordage is going over the pulley correctly. And that's how we want it to look. So, alright, so I'm going to do a quick check on that. Doesn't feel right. So I'm going to go button this thing back down. Buttoned it back down. Had to find a screw I lost. I was using the wrong screw. This is the right screw. Found the screw. Oops. And then I was like, you know what? Let me test it. So I tested it by pulling, right? It didn't retract all the way. I know I can go a little bit further, so this is good, but it actually didn't retract at all. So what I ended up having to do is going and retying that knot in there. And look at the tag on that. It's like a 4-inch tag. Originally it was right at the end because that's what I saw in the Hobie video, but it looks like I had a little bit longer cord. So I need like a long tag. I mean, look at this. That's a long tag from the knot. I could even tie it with a longer tag and probably get a better action, but this will work. Anyways, so this is why you watch more than one video. The Hobie one makes it look super easy. Other people doing it are going to find stuff that that's different. So let me button this back up. Glad I tested that, and then we'll get back to this stuff over here. Okay, back down beneath the boat. This 3-in-1 transducer from Lowrance, it's a beast. It is barely covered. Keep that in mind, guys. If you're running one of these, that's as far up as I can get it to go, and it just about hangs down. It's pretty close. So now we're going to work on the battery portion of things. I opted to go with an Aqua 10 amp battery to run my fish finder. I've got my reasons for that, and you know, I'll do a video in the future kind of on that, on this battery and that type of thing. So yeah, here's the battery in here. Super small 10 amp battery. Here is my power cable from Lowrance. Here is my stuff from Aqua. And here's that inline fuse that Lowrance makes you run. You gotta wire in this fuse or else you're gonna be a sad camper. Alright, so now that I've got that all wired up, I'm gonna attach these, and then do the heat shrink, and you know, we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I went ahead and got this contraption all wired up. Fuse is there, wire nut. We got some electrical tape, taped it up really nice. I did the heat shrink tubing, but I didn't like how tight it got, so I actually went and put some electrical tape on that as well. So I also went and coiled up the transducer cable. As you can see, I used a zip tie, but I also used some of the little ties that came with the transducer cable when I purchased it. And my thought is, if I have way too much cable left over after I get everything where I need it to be, I can just wire it up through there and I'll be good to go. So I opted to have the head unit on the right side, so that'll be right here. I already went ahead and popped off the 3-way plug. That's right here. That's the hole everything's got to fit in, or fit out of actually. So it's going to run through right there underneath the deck and then pop out right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done right now. Okay. That three-way plug, not bad to work with. That three-way plug was a total pain in the ass. Alright, so I got the power cable this end wired or zip tied to the sail mast. The thing I like about the Naqua is I can just I'll be able to velcro it right around that sail mast, and then it's not going to go anywhere, so it can just stay right here. Alright, so here's our head unit. We got to get this mounted up and mount it on the gear track, make sure the cables all have enough room, and go from there. So let's do that right now. Alright, so we need something that's going to plug into that. The thing that's included in your Lowrance box doesn't really work super well. You can make it work, but there's some better options for kayaks, and that's where this piece comes in. This is from Hobie. It's a Hobie Accessory, and this little part is going to plug in right there, and that should allow it to mount, and then it's on a ram 1-inch swing ball. So you can get this in 1.5 inches as well, and then I have a 1-inch ram ball that we're going to mount to the gear track. So let's get that all set up now. Alright, I'm kind of thinking it just snaps in, right? Feels like it. I think it goes there. I think it goes there. Let's make sure I got enough room with the cables. She looks pretty good. Let's clean up this mess and we'll talk about it. Whew, we done yet? There you go. All in all, this took me about an hour and a half. A lot longer than I thought it would. Hour and a half, almost 2 hours maybe. So, yeah, a few things that kind of slowed me down a little bit more than I expected. One was the issue with the Guardian Transducer Shield and the length of pull. That's a gun term. The cordage length, how far back the knot should have been, on that unit. So that really threw me off. It took me a little while to figure that out. I had to have my son come out and give me a hand on a few things. The other thing that was a pain was working on the three-way connector, not that one. That was a real pain in the butt, getting that thing to work right. And then what I perceived to be a little issue with the TI2s and their transom mount, and how that was supposed to be used as a template. And I think it probably worked fine with the TI1, but with the TI2s, it just didn't really seem to work very effectively as a template. So then I went and drilled some holes, kind of trying to get it close. I got it close, but not close enough. It's gonna work, but it just took me a little bit longer than it should have. So beware of that going into it. I hope watching this video can give you some stuff to look out for and think of before you go into it. If I was smart, I would have made my own template with some paper, something like that, prior to really drilling any holes. If you have a Humminbird or a different unit, doing your own template might be a good idea. So other than that, I'm really looking forward to getting out on the water and messing with this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. Really excited to take it up to some of the lakes like Shasta or Berryessa, Comanche, and get it out there and do the side scan, side imaging, and just all the stuff that this Elite TI2 can do. I think overall it looks pretty clean. It's possible I could have done it a little bit cleaner. I might zip tie these wires I might move this thing. I gotta kind of get out on the water and get a feel for how things are working for me. I think that's gonna have to go. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to go somewhere. So we'll see. But overall, I think it looks good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you would have done anything differently, or if you've had any issues with your installs of your transducers, or that pull on the transducer, the Guardian dropping down and that type of thing, I'd love to hear back from you guys. Hopefully this video helps somebody. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up the video if you liked it, if it helped you. Thanks for getting out west with Chris.